This is lesson 80 for Saxon 5 Intermediate Math. What we're going to be looking at today is prime and composite numbers. So we have prime numbers and composite. Now we can find out whether a number is prime or composite depending on how many factor pairs it has. Now what a factor pair is two numbers that times together to make the number you're looking for. So for example, if I have the number 2, okay? What are two numbers that times together to make 2? Those are my factors, okay? Well, 1 and 2 times together to make 2, and nothing else really does. So 1 and 2 are a factor pair because 1 times 2 equals 2. So 1 and 2 are a factor pair. Now, 2 only has one factor pair, so that means it is a prime number. Let's go to another number. Let's go to 3. 3. What are two numbers I can times together to make 3? Well, I can times 1 by 3, and I can't really do anything else, which means this is a factor pair, pair being 2, and 3 only has one factor pair, which means 3 is a prime number. So if you notice, the pattern is if it only has one factor pair, it becomes a prime number. Now, if it has more than one factor pair, it is a composite number. So let's keep going. 4. 1 and 4. If you notice, 1 and the number itself is the first one you do all the time. And then if I times 2 by 2, it is a factor pair. Okay, so 1 and 4 is a factor pair, and 2 by 2 is a factor pair, which 4 has two factor pairs, which makes it a composite number. Now I can keep going and I can say 5 is a prime because it only has one factor pair. 6 is a composite, it has more than one. 7 is a prime, it has one. 8 is a composite, it has more than one. 9 is a composite, it has more than one. 10 is a composite, it has more than one. 11 is a prime, back and forth, okay? The key thing here is if it has one factor pair, only one and the number itself times together to make that number, it's a prime number. If it has more than one factor pair, it is a composite. Okay, so as soon as you can times a number by something else to make that number, it's a composite. Okay, so in this case, it's 2 times 2. In 8's case, you have 1 and 8, but also 2 and 4. Okay, so it has two prime factors, or two factor pairs. Okay, these are its factor pairs. And if we kept going, 11, 12 is a composite. 12 has more than 2. 12 has 1 and 12, which is a factor pair. It has 2 and 6, which is a factor pair. It also has 3 and 4, which is a factor pair. So 12 has 3, which makes it a composite because it has more than 1. Again, the big rule here is a prime number will only have one factor pair. A composite will have more than one factor pair. That is prime and composite numbers. Now, for lesson practice for this lesson, it does require you to use arrays and tiles. So very quickly, an array is just drawing the factor pair. So let's use 3 and 4 for 12. 3 groups of 4. Remember, that's how we say multiplications. 3 groups of 4. So we have 3 groups, 1, 2, 3, of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We now have an array. We have 3 groups of 4. Okay, this is an array. Now you can do this for any factor pair, and it will ask you to do that within your lesson practice. In lesson practice, when it asks you to use colored tiles to make different arrays, I would say just go with drawing, or if you have some pennies or buttons or anything else that you can use at home, you can use those as well. But this is an array for this factor pair. And again, a prime number has one factor pair. A composite number has more than one factor pair. That is lesson 80.